Hey everyone, Green Bay Greg here. Today I'm going to share with you a personal story that kind of got me into real estate 5 years ago. When I decided to purchase my first property, I decided that I wanted to purchase a duplex. I had a friend that was in the business, and I trusted him to help me take me through this process. It was something I never did before, and going through the process, I realized after I got my real estate license that some major things went wrong, and I want to talk to you real briefly about what happened. Um, Long story short is that I found a property that I specifically thought was the one. I thought it was decent. I told my realtor that I wanted to put an offer in on this property, and he said, "Great, we're going to go through all the paperwork, go through the steps." Um, we got down to the nitty gritty of purchasing the property, and I specifically asked him, how do I negotiate? Um, how can you help me negotiate? How do I figure out that I'm not paying too much for a property, or how do I make sure that I'm getting the best value? Well, my realtor told me that I needed to bring my best foot forward, and that it was important that I put an offer in that I would not want to lose the house with. And then I asked him, I'm like, well, what about negotiating? What to do? And he was very kind of like put off by the questions, and I was naive. I was young. I decided that I was like, help me out here. But needless to say, I ended up purchasing the property, and then I realized once I got into real estate license school that he basically misrepresented me when I specifically asked, how can I negotiate? How can I figure out what the best price on this property is? He didn't disclose to me that he was just working for the seller. He never even told me that he could have represented me as what's called a buyer's agent. And when you work as a buyer's agent, you actually have the capability of getting the same information and then actually analyzing it the same way you would if you were going to sell somebody's property. So, needless to say, I was unhappy with figuring out that, hey, um, you could have actually represented my best interest, especially when I asked for it, 3 times. And it was something that if you're not in the real estate industry, you're probably not going to know. You're not going to know the difference. A lot of times, people are just representing the seller, which um, is not okay. I really don't think it is. I think everyone needs to know. That's why I made a vow when I got in the real estate business that every single client that I worked with was going to at least be educated on the 2 different ways I can work for somebody. Don't you think it's important that if you're going to buy a home, that your realtor represents your best interests? Well, not every realtor does it. And if you've already met with your realtor and they haven't brought that up within the first couple meetings, I always try to do it in the first meeting. And if they haven't, I tell you what, warning signs would be flying. So it's imperative that you understand that a good realtor, can actually represent your best interests and give you information just like you were selling your house. That information is pivotal. I mean, it's really important. So not only with the buyer's agent, they can help you negotiate. They can tell you specifically what they recommend, and then they negotiate for you like a pit bull, the good ones. Like I said, if they're not telling you about this, run the other way and try to find a real estate consultant who actually cares about building real relationships. I don't know how somebody in the real estate industry can build a real relationship with somebody if they're not representing their client the best way possible. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. It's important. Um, and as you can tell, I'm real passionate about it. The great thing about it is I knew there's plenty of room in the real estate industry for somebody that actually, um, told people the reality of how they can work for somebody. It's pretty simple. You'd think it would happen, but it doesn't. So um, look forward to getting your attention on some other videos in the future. Thanks.